Yeah. Hello, friends. Hope you all are fine. We are back again with yet another episode on ArtLit, and today we have with us author Triparno Ghoshal, who is an emerging author, blogger, and short story writer. He has published his debut book, Indistinct Chatter, in February 2021, which is available on Amazon.
But before beginning today's session, let me tell you that ArtLit is an art and literary community that is a platform to bring stories of storytellers, artists, writers, and the literature enthusiast. In this platform, we publish conversations and stories that people who have made significant contributions in the field of art, literature, and no matter how big or small.
Artlet invites and seeks stories in a similar genre. If you would like to share your own story with us or of someone you know, then please write to us at artlitcommunity@gmail.com or connect to us through our social handles, the links for which we have given in the description box below.
So Triparno Ghoshal is the author of Indistinct Chatter, a short story series based on three phases of love, published in 2021. Triparno is a poet by soul and marketer by profession. He loves to express his daily details of everyday life through his poems. If not writing, he likes to walk through the silent streets.
Exactly. Thank you. Thanks for having me. And yes, I definitely, if not now I'm writing, then I like to walk around and like to observe nature and people because I get a lot of inspiration from nature and uh, the environment around me. So I like to express those minute details and the intricate details because I think they play a very distinct role in our lives, which we often, which often didn't get noticed uh, from everyone. So I think to express those things from being a poem or a short story, I like to express like that.
So welcome Triparno.
Yeah.
Thank
How
you.
are you? How
I'm
are you today?
fine. I'm
How are you
good. How are
feeling?
you?
I'm also good,
I'm
thanks.
actually very excited
Same
and a
here.
little nervous also because this is my
That,
first author interview. I haven't given any interview before.
Okay,
that's
so
right.
let's
But
start up with the questions, right?
Sure.
yeah.
Sorry, Akhila, were you saying something?
Yeah, no, I was telling that we are also very glad that Suporno is with us today.
Certainly, certainly.
Yeah.
So, Triparno, first of all, please tell us something about your writing journey so far. You had published your work quite a long back, and how do you find yourself evolving as an author all over these years?
Well, the journey starts from my school life because I wasn't very good in English, and, and surprisingly, I had a keen interest on literature. So I didn't knew back then how to express myself, and I had the passion of photography. Then I don't know how to say this. Then I had a breakup, and I thought there are many things beneath the surface which needs to be told, and that I cannot express through just a photograph. Then I started writing with the help of my friend. She actually guided me, and actually she introduced literature to me because I wasn't very much into books and reading and stuff. Then then slowly I started reading literature. Then I thought there might be a connection, and I feel a very genuine interest. So I started writing my stuff, and the first story that I wrote on my teenage days based on my class 10 memories. That though that was a very horrible story to read, when I read it, I think like a lot could have been done. Then I started writing. Then there was a phase during my sophomore years. I went into filmmaking and then music video making. And I thought it's okay that I'm doing things, but there is something within me that needs to come out, and that has to be like, मतलब समझ में नहीं आ रहा था मेरे को. So I started writing, and there is a very deep connection with the nature that I have. I get my inspiration and motivation from nature, and I like to walk around. I see people, and there are a few things that I think that that needs to be told. And that's when I started writing. And then I started writing stories, poems, which I didn't publish very well. Then slowly, during my college days, I started publishing my stuff in Instagram and Facebook. I didn't know how to do that. So then the idea came about Indistinct Chatter. That's also when I was like, when we watch films, there in the subtitles we see indistinct chatter when there isn't anything happening. So that word actually stuck with me. And and it was an evening when I was having tea on a shack, on a roadside tea shack. Then I was lost in my mind, observing the road. And I thought that I'm lost in that indistinct chatter of the world. And we don't get to notice the small details in our daily life. So that idea stuck me with from there. And I started writing about stories. The first story in Indistinct Chatter I wrote, that was from from my school life. Then I wrote about solitude, and then I wanted to explore the intricacies of the married couples.
Okay.
And the third story is,
It's
so
very
that
interesting.
is so far.
That's a very interesting journey to porno. And you rightly said that, when we start, as you were telling, that we are not very, when we look as writers, when we look back to our own work, we always think, this could have been better. And this is, I think, there with all the writers and throughout
Absolutely.
their journey, I believe. But your journey is beautiful, inspiring, I would say. And yeah, I mean, as a book lover or as a writer, I'm also a huge nature lover, and I think nature can be, inspiration to any art form, whether it's writing, it's painting, or
Absolutely.
anything.
Yeah,
Right.
certainly.
And well, yeah. And well, my next question was about, the story. What was the story behind the title "Indistinct Chatter"? But you have already
Yes.
explained that what is the story. I mean,
Yes.
and it's very interesting, and it's very thoughtful, I believe, because yeah, that is very interesting that at the background some indistinct chatter is going on, and we hardly pay much attention to indistinct chatters in our life. So anything else you would like to add about like how the idea of the story about the conception of the idea of the story, or uh, the title, whether you would like to
Uh,
elaborate? Mm.
as you have read the stories, so
Mm.
it's coined under the one single term, indistinct chatter. Those are
Mhm.
repeated in three stories. Somewhere or the other, it's floating in the stories. So my idea was like, I wanted to write a story to tell the narrative of our everyday
Mm.
life. There won't be any
Mm.
hero, or there won't be any villain. Just the
Mm.
everydayness, that mayhem or the confusion that we go through.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just don't acknowledge those little things in our head. There might be those things, they are poking right in our face, but we don't acknowledge because we are so caught up in our mind. But
Mm.
these little things plays a very distinct role in our lives. They occasionally they either burst out, or they have their own problems, or I say outbursts. So I started writing the stories of three characters. And in the second story I didn't given any name to the particular character, because I just wanted to express that flow of that everydayness when we are returning in a bus after our day long journey, like after our day long work. We are so exhausted, we need someone to talk. Like, there are many people out there who just wanted to talk to someone. So I just wanted to convey that emotion through that particular story in the second phase. And the first phase, there is a character called Rai, and then they have a little love story between them, and that the boy faced anxiety issues. So I incorporated that thing. And at the end of the story, of the first story, when the girl was slowly fading into the indistinct chatter of the market, he was looking at her. So I tried to elaborate that space in the first story. And the second story, the narrative. And the third story, the I hope you can relate with the with the third story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So actually, Triparno, I have also seen that when your writings have a very descriptive flair, which naturally flows, and somewhere within all these stories, I feel that it's like everyday life which is there in your writings, and just wanted to know that how do you work out these things? How do you process? I mean, your process of writing.
As you said earlier, that I take long walks, even in crowded
Yeah.
streets and silent streets. So I like to observe people. I like to sit around in a corner of a road in a crowded area, and I see people because I love observing things. So there, from observing those everydayness, I pick up ideas from there. So I can turn it into a poem. I can turn it into a short story. It depends upon the motivation of that particular thing that I pick up from our daily routine. Like if I say there's an entire poem in a cramped compartment when you're returning home, like superbly exhausted, you don't have that energy, and you're just you just wanted to go home, but there
Mm.
is a poem in
Mm.
that compartment of that metro or the train uh, through which we are returning home. So there is some element in that compartment. So
Great.
I see things like that.
Great. Also, I feel there is an element of lyricality in your works. Even prose, there is an element of lyricality, like as if you're reading a poem. I don't know if you have read Meena Kandasami's work, When I Hit You. She's a poet as well, and she's a very prominent writer. And when I read her book, it was like, though it is based on a very heavy theme like violence in marriage and all this stuff, but still, when I read it, it was so beautiful because of the lyrical element of the prose. And I feel your work has that. So I just wanted to know, how do you manage to do that? And I wanted to ask whether you write poems, but you have already mentioned that you started with, writing poems. So how do you bring lyricality in your works? I wanted to know. Also, are you a student of literature? Because,
No,
I don't know. Okay,
never,
fine. Never.
because
Okay.
I
Wow.
build up that thing solely by myself. I
Great.
build up
Yeah.
that thing because I started as a from I started as a started in painting, doing painting and
Okay.
sculpting. Then
Great.
I jumped
Yeah.
into Photoshop, and I had an interest in
Cool.
photography. Then, as I
Right.
said earlier, then
Hmm.
photography. What more I can do? Then I jumped into
Hmm.
filmmaking, and I had
Hmm.
a degree in filmmaking and journalism.
Oh,
So
wow.
then I
Wow.
then slowly as I get elder, more and more I started growing up, I realized there are few things that needs to be told solely. So I started
Hmm.
writing my things, and I
Okay.
shifted completely into writing, like writing stories
Great.
and poems. And about the lyricality, this comes to me very naturally. This comes to me very naturally, and when it's coming, I just express it. When it's not, I don't push myself that farther. I try to
That's your
express it in
style.
different ways. Yes,
That's your
yes.
style, and I think it's a great gift. You are gifted
Yes,
to
certainly you're gifted because you are into so many art forms, and
yeah,
you're doing pretty well in all of these.
yeah.
I feel that as artists or as writers, as authors, we all kind of, observe realities
Yeah,
around us.
right. Very
So,
keenly.
yeah, it's very, yeah, keenly we have to do that.
Yeah.
And in case of Triporno, I think you take out things from everyday life. Like I remember that rainy day in which this lady went to the terrace to pick up clothes, and that kind of
Hmm.
scene. It's a like everyday kind of a scene because it's very
Yes,
rainy in
Monday.
Kolkata. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, yes.
just wanted to ask that what I mean. Does everyday life accentuate your writings or your emotions? What is there which accentuates your writing? Is that everyday life?
Yes, yes, very much. Uh, I pick up elements from the daily routine. Like, let me tell you, like, in a winter morning, I just took a morning walk,
Yeah.
and the slanting sun rays in the empty streets, the pigeons flying by in the they're settling in the electric wires. So that, and also the flower bush at the corner of the road. So these things intrigues me a lot. They intrigues me a lot. I see things like a painting first, because I started as a sketch artist. Like, when I was in school, I started drawing and painting things. So I had that perception of observing things from there as a painting. So now when I am writing, so I need to describe it in a little detail, and I like to do that. Like how the
Yeah.
sun is, like it's falling on those flowers, and those those beautiful things, those little things I like, because they make me feel good. They make me feel very, very good.
Yeah, I think as readers also, it gives a lot of soothing effect to the readers as well.
Because
Right.
I like to express those things.
Yeah.
I like to express, like, how the wind is slowly blowing on a winter afternoon, and all the neem leaves slowly wafting in the air. So those kind of things, they intrigue me a lot. They
Right.
intrigue me a lot.
I always say, I like the kind of reading where the moon is talking, where the
Yeah.
wind is blowing. So I think that the same way Tupono, just explained the kind of
Yeah.
writing he uses.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Tupono, you are a versatile artist, okay? You are not just a writer. I mean, you are more than a writer. You are a poet, a writer, a media professional, and you are into filmmaking, you are into photography. You started your career with, I think, sketch.
I
Yeah. So I just wanted to know,
Yes,
how
yes.
do you
I
juggle with
use.
different roles? Because they are all different for art forms. So,
Uh, I used to take photos. I was a photographer, but now I don't take any more photographs. I just,
okay.
if I feel something very beautiful, I just capture with my phone. And
Okay.
I had a very keen interest in filmmaking during my college days, and I made a film, a short film, and then a music
Oh,
video later on. But
Okay.
now I'm not into that anymore. If there is an opportunity, then I will definitely go into it. But now currently I'm very much into writing my stories, poems, and I'm also writing a collection of poems. So I
okay,
hope to
great.
finish that up.
Very nice. We'll look
uh,
forward to it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Yeah.
great.
definitely.
And I think because you're a filmmaker also, you can definitely, direct your one of your own stories too. Right?
I have that kind of a plan in my head, but
Yeah.
that takes a lot of things, other things
Yeah,
into it.
true. Right.
So, Triparno, you're a blogger as well, right? And you consistently publish your articles on Medium. So, any insights on how blogging can help aspiring other writers, in a way to create a fan base and improve one's own craft?
In marketing, a blog is considered as a very efficient, a very good tool. And for a writer also, a blog is a very good tool, because blogging gives me opportunities to explore different fields, where if I try, I can write fiction. If I try, I can express my journey to a short trip or anything. If I feel like, as I said, on a winter morning, I just sitting on a tea shop and having my tea and observing the market slowly unfolding, fresh stocks arriving. So there are, like, questions arises in my head, like how to express this, whether I should turn it into a blog, or I should turn it into a poem, or like put some characters into it, and make it a short story. So there, that depends upon the bandwidth of that particular environment. If there are more elements, then I can build up more, and if there are less elements, then I can probably write like a poem, or it depends. It's very anonymous process, I
Yeah.
would say. So, so coming back to
It's a good.
blogs actually
Yeah.
help me to explore
Hmm.
other form of writing, like technical writing, which I also
Yeah.
does in my professional job, blog writing for the marketing part. So that's it.
Right. And also, blogging is a very, because usually we writers, uh, we uh, we cannot sustain our homes with the writings we do, so we have to earn. That is so
Yes,
unfortunate, but
yes,
that's how
Yeah.
it is. But I
yes.
think blogging can be a
That's
very
how.
good source. So medium, I think,
Yes.
pays quite well to the writers I have known. So can you tell something about that? Like, because you're
Uh,
writing on Medium, right?
to be very
So,
honest, that requires a dedicated writing for Medium, which I didn't
okay,
did lately. But I'm planning to write more on Medium,
okay,
and for getting paid, you have to cross a certain number of followers, and which I didn't
right,
have that kind of followers. I started very early because I started. I started very late because I started last year only.
hmm.
Last year
Oh,
Okay.
around
it's very early.
August, and so it's very early
Yeah,
to reach that
yeah.
phase.
Yeah.
I'm
Face.
trying.
You
And
have to be very, very consistent, and sometimes
yes,
as
yes, yes,
creative
yes.
writers, I personally do not feel, just creating up the work so that we just get paid. So it's a conflict again.
Yeah, yeah, because it takes time to entirely
Yeah.
write and then rewrite and then again think of like
Um,
placing elements. So that is a like long process to complete a work.
Yeah.
yeah, agree. I mean, there is a different approach, I would say. The purpose is
Yes,
different. It's quite
yes,
different
yes,
from
yes,
creative writing. So,
exactly, exactly.
Triparno, yeah. So please tell us about your publishing journey. Like, you published your first work at a very young age. So how was your publishing journey? And are there any tips that you would like to give to your readers or the aspiring writers? And what are your future plans? You spoke about your poetry book upcoming, but
Hmm.
anything
Hmm.
else that also?
My publishing journey, I wrote the entire series beforehand, like Indistinct Chatter, though it wasn't that complete. Then one day I came across an ad of Kindle Pen to publish, and I saw the limits and all the details. And I thought I should publish this, and I didn't know how to publish my how to take part in that contest. Then I took help from my elder brother, and then I came to know that we have to publish the entire thing as a book, and it will be there in Amazon as a book. So I was like, okay, I wanted to publish as a book, but I didn't know this will happen this soon. So he helped me a lot. He designed the entire cover and he helped me through the publishing process. Then on 27th February last year, 2021, my book was live on Amazon, and it was a great feeling. Like, okay, I wanted to publish a book, and it's like happened just like that. Okay, thank you. So I didn't know how to express that, and it's just
I
like
don't
that.
know.
So
Yeah, so
yeah, it was
I
a
think
very
the first
genuine
book
feeling.
is always very special, no?
Special,
Even
yeah.
Akhila
Yes,
would
yes.
say it's like our own
Yeah,
child.
yeah. Then I remember when my first bundle of books were delivered, I was so happy. I just took out some money. I just wanted to give it to the person, the courier man, and he was like, "No, no, it's my job. Why are you giving me money? Because you have delivered my first book." So
Book.
he
Yes.
was also smiling, and I was not myself that day. I was so happy. So I can
It's
understand
a, it's
that.
a, it's a great feeling. It's a great
Absolutely.
feeling to see my work out there in the
Yeah,
world.
true.
True. So, Triporno, even, after being an writer, poet, artist, author, even after that, there is a, journey in which you need to market your own books, right? So nowadays
Yes.
we see that most of the authors, not nowadays, generally authors are more into their creative process. They write and they think about how to, be more creative. But how important do you think to be in like good at marketing as well? Because you are from marketing profession. So how do you see this?
I think the equation is very simple because a story needs to be told, and for that the book needs to be sold, so that
Wow.
the publisher can also make revenues, and the author and the artist can also thrive upon their creations. So
Okay.
that
Yeah, absolutely. And like for aspiring artists or poets or writers, do you have any advice or any suggestions to give them?
I'm very young to give advice because I seek advice from others. But one thing that I've understood so far is the writing is like exercising daily. The more you do, the more you gain those muscles to write and you gain that flair. So it's write, rewrite, and then write again.
Great.
Wow.
That's a lovely advice
This
to
process
follow.
this process continues. This process continues
Hmm,
throughout.
true. And you keep evolving yourself as a writer, you know. So it's a very
Thank you.
ongoing process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that was lovely talking to you, Triparno.
We wish
Thank
you
you
all
very
the
much.
best for all your writing endeavors. And thanks for your time and thanks for you being available talking to us.
Thanks for
So,
having me, as I
friends,
said. This is my very first interview. Thank you.
that was our pleasure to have you here today. So friends, that's all for today.
Hope you enjoyed our today's session.
And tell us in the comment section below how you found today's author interview. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get all the notifications.
So we'll meet you soon. Till then, you stay safe, read more. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
We'll stop the recording now.